Here's a Supercollider patch that sounds like this. So we'll be converting this into Csound and VCV rack. Okay, so this has to be 48K because I'm running my Jack server at 48,000. Sample rate is 48K. It's 128 and 256. So let's make this 2 channels. Yeah. And score file is probably 30 seconds. All right, now where is the, yeah, so you start off by making a sine wave. Just do stereo sine wave, which is A0 oscill. So how do you make a sine wave? Now, if you have checked out the F table session that's on YouTube, you'll see that I explain this stuff. This is basically a sine wave, and we're just going to use this table. Oscill amplitude is 0.1. We should get a sine wave. Yeah. Okay, we got a sine wave now. Modulate the amplitude of the sine. Okay, so you look, this itself is it's basically left and right. So K0, let's see if we can make this control rate sine wave. Which is oscillating from 300 to 400, 350 plus 50 and 350 minus 50. Okay, can do oscillate. Okay, we'll keep the names same. Okay, K0, which is a sine wave. Amplitude is 50 and frequency is K2. For now we'll just keep it some fixed frequency. No, that's too late. 20 frequency. My bad, the first one is not frequency, it is amplitude. What is the amplitude of this? Amplitude is 50. Frequency is 20 and 1. So now what's this going to do? Frequency mod, right? So we just add 320 plus, or let's say 350 plus K0. To clean up things, let's just make this more visually neater. so that don't end up doing something unintentional. 350 plus k0, k0 is moving from minus 50 to plus 50. This should sound like some kind of FM. Let's just verify that. Yeah. So now what we do? Now we modulate the K2 is the frequency, so you modulate the frequency of this. So this guy 20 is going to become K2. Okay, what is this? K2 is oscillating. So okay, let me just put this frequency of 0.81. Sorry, that's free. So this is a mistake that I'm going to make, because the first parameter in Csound is the amplitude, second one is frequency, and then F table. What we can do is this guy, so basically this behaves like the this is like the multiply parameter of Supercollider, and then for adding it we add it like this, 30 plus K2. So all that, this thing is actually what you're seeing here. Okay, the M add, multiply and add. So let's see what that does. So I think this will sound almost like a, yeah. Okay, so we've got that. Now what is this? N gen KNV. So I'm multiplying the, so there's the amplitude modulation with KNV. We'll try to make this envelope. How do you make envelopes? So what's happening here is, this is basically a table. Okay, impulse. Now in Csound, if you want to use gates, there's a couple of ways. So we could do something like have a VCU and PWM to make a impulse, or we could even use an impulse train opcode. But we are going to do something slightly easier. Let's say what if, all right, so let me make a table. Ten 24/7. So as usual, you need the reference, Csound reference book. There's probably an ID that has auto suggest for this. What do we call? We say gen 07. Yeah, segments of straight lines. Okay, thing to note here is this is the curve in Supercollider. So the curve, if you don't give anything, it's going to be a linear curve. So let's try this first, okay? Because you have it's easier to try out straight lines first, but there is exponential. There are gen routines for exponential curves. Spline. So let's make a table. That's going to look like this. Okay, another idiosyncrasy of Supercollider, probably to make stuff easier, is that the first thing is going to be only on the first time, which means once it re-triggers the envelope, only these three are going to re-trigger. First one is not, which is why I purposely gave 0 for the first time, because I don't want I want it to have infinite re-trigger. Csound, we won't have any such troubles. Less convenience implies a simpler and less number of special cases. So let's make a triangular kind of table. A, N1, B, N2, C. So 64, 1, how long should it stay at 1? 256, and then 64, 0. And then we're going to have a period of silence. Let's see how this looks. And this table we're going to use to control the amplitude. We'll call it oscill 1 and frequency is 1. Let's just keep it as 1. For now, we'll just look at how the table looks. Okay, so this is how we are not yet used this. Okay. Oh, I made a mistake here. 0, 64, 1, 256, 1, 64, 0. Ah, no wonder I got this weird looking stalk. This should have been a trapezium. Now if you run it, yeah, now you get the trapezium. Now what we'll do, this table is going to control the amplitude, going to modulate the amplitude of this guy. No, what does this gain be modulate? Right, final amplitude. So 0.12 into KNB. Just keep it as 1. See what happens now. Should sound something like a pulse. A0, let's see. So that sounds like a pulse, but so the impulse, okay, here's the thing. This And one more thing you have to keep in mind is this 0 1 0, right? So it's actually 0, the time taken is this to reach 1, and then 1 to 0, the time taken is double, right? What that means, it's double, so duration by 3. 0 to 1 is, if it's x, then this is going to be 2x. So which means if you're making a table like that, what is 1024 by 3? 341. We will ignore the decimal point, just call it 341, and then 2 into 341, right? I wonder, will that be fine? What is 341 plus 2 into 341? Right, 341 and 3. So we will be off by 1. 341. So 0, 341 to 1, and then 341 into 2 is 682, 0. How about that? So now we've managed to get an envelope similar to this, okay? 0 1 0, so this time is half of this. That's what I used here. So it's going to reach 0 to 1 in half the time that it takes to reach from 1 to 0, okay? And it's going to re-trigger back. So now I'm just going to put in the frequency of impulse.kr is kr1. So 20 and 24, huh? Let's say 20 for the moment. Hard coding this. Now, okay, let's make it lesser. Oh wait, no, is it? Yeah, it is. So it is controlling the amplitude, just that, right? It's active. So how do you check whether something has had effect? Right, now we've got this. So this 5 will also have to be modulated by something called, so we are now going to do k1, okay? So ngn.kr. So now what we're going to do, we will make k1, which is again an oscillator, frequency amp, okay, amp is 20, frequency is 0.51, and table is 1. Now, okay, KNB is going to use this as the frequency. It's still going to be slightly different. say k1 plus 24. So this 24 is coming from here. This. Otherwise we could have done it with another variable, but I'm just putting it here and space it out a bit. And let's see how it sounds. Close enough. Somehow this sounds smoother. I suppose that might be because of, okay, so this is time and we've made a table. I guess, yeah, we'll need to get a hardware oscilloscope and see. But yeah, this is pretty close to what it's doing there. Let's see if I make the, what if I make this coarser, 256. Where is the calculator? 256 by 3, 85. 85 and 85 into 2 is 170. I'm just decreasing the resolution. Of the envelope. So it might be hard to detect because control rate. Okay, so this is Supercollider to Csound. You can almost compare the funny thing is you don't see a hint of something being the envelope. Here you can look at, okay, this might be doing something envelope-ish. Here the envelope just magically appears from the table. So if you weren't already aware of this, you wouldn't, just by seeing this code, you wouldn't know that there's an envelope. Of course, it helps to have descriptive names,